Yeah. And so they'll free, maybe so because it's a panel session, obviously. So
when
you have to
all
have
our
your
shadows
participant
disappeared, the animals inside came out of play. When face to face with all our fears, learned our lessons through the tears, made memories we knew would never fade. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. He took me in his arms, I heard him say, when you get older, your world will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights that never die. My father told me. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights that never die. When thunderclouds are pouring down, light a fire that can't put out, carve your name into those shining stars. He said go venture far beyond the shores, don't forsake this life of yours, I'll guide you on no matter where you are. One day my Once upon a younger year, when all our shadows disappeared, the animals inside came out of play. When face to face with all our fears, learned our lessons through the tears, made memories we knew would never fade. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. He took me in his arms, I heard him say, when you get older, your world will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights.
All right, mic check. All right.
Father told me.
All right, can you hear me? And your background.
I should change it, Abby.
Change it to the background I have. You have the
How will I
image.
change it? How will I change it?
All right. May you hear us? All right.
When thunderclouds are pouring
And so you have the image. I image I sent.
You can send it to me on WhatsApp. Send it to me on WhatsApp.
Okay, I'll comment on it now. I sent it to you before.
Yeah, share this one.
Yes, the one on the teacher's group. All right, swap it, please. Swap it to the background. This one.
Once upon a young
All right.
year, when all our shadows disappeared, the animals inside came out of play. When face to face with all our fears, learned our lessons through the tears, made memories we knew would never fade. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let it slip away. He took me in his arms, I heard him say, when you get older, your world will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child, these are the nights.
Okay, it's okay now.
Yeah. So I'm asking question pa our two our sponsors are by Abby.
let me remind all of them now. Let me capture the Zoom, the YouTube link. Um, copy. Okay.
Mr. Member.
Okay, no problem.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. You can.
Okay.
Don't you collect it? You didn't remember.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you confirm if you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we can.
I want to use this opportunity to welcome everyone to today's webinar session on tech skills and soft skills. I'll be introducing our panelists. First of all, we have Obalolu Adairo, who is a specialist in branding and business strategy. We also have Mr. Benga Johnson, who is a proficient project manager as well as a business consultant. We have Modesta Uzo, who is a data analyst at Kreteng. And we also have Mrs. Adeyinka Okonfolami, who is the MD of our Cash Microfinance Bank, who will be participating in today's panel session. Apologies for that. I also want to introduce Mr. Adedayo Kunfalami, who would be the host for this webinar. He's the CEO of Createng. Thank you. Can everybody still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, all right. Good afternoon once again, everyone. So we'll be kicking off right away. Apologies for the delay in starting. We're supposed to kickstart around 12:30. Guess due to logistics. So we would just go straight into the conversation right away. All right, what's going on? So welcome once again at the panels, and myself and Benga Johnson will be handling this section, and we'll just jump into the conversation right away. So I would hand over to Benga to start over, then I would we'll move forward from there. Benga, can you hear me? Benga.
All right.
Yes, we can.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. So good afternoon, everyone. Please, I'll be glad if I hear everyone's voice, but because of time, I'll be glad if we can just unmute our mics so I would know that everybody is present. So kindly respond to me by unmuting your mic, everyone. Only 3 people have unmuted though. Okay, all right. So 5, 6, 7.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right. Oh, okay. All right. So we're just going to go straight to it. Yeah. I am glad to be present. And I'm honored to be invited for this session. So far, the program has been a great progress. I believe that a lot of impact, has happened amongst the students. And this is thanks to not just the sponsor, but the program coordinator and every other people that have contributed significantly to this program. All right, so without further ado, we're going to go straight to asking a couple of questions. Now, these questions are based off on some of the growing, concerns and curiosity amongst some of our participants, and also the frequent issues that a lot of people are facing in the workforce currently. So we're going to be asking random questions, and we're going to be pushing it to some of our panelists. Yeah. So my first question will go to about and it talks about how effective business integration and technology has helped in improving and shaping the soft skills of our workers in our environment. So I would like Oba to just give us an insight on how this business has effectively balanced the integration of technology and the development of soft skills within its team members. So over to you, please.
Sorry, please, if you could take the question again. I didn't hear you properly.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the question is, how have your business effectively balanced the integration of technology and the development of soft skills within your team?
So I think I'll just speak from the position of my relationship with businesses, in terms of how, because I'm definitely not like a business as it's were, but I basically do business development and I help businesses grow. So I would say that in terms of integration of integration of technology and development of soft skill within the team, of course, we cannot overemphasize the importance of this. And one of the things I tell my the businesses I relate with is that. Sorry, please, a moment. I need to move a little bit from where I am. Please give me a moment. Sorry. 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 So sorry. One of the businesses I consult for is that the role of technology in building a business, you'd know the impacts, in terms of your operation, in terms of building your product, in terms of even building the internal capacity. So we cannot overemphasize that. So, and then of course, talking about soft skills, when we talk about, the team, how do we, help the team grow? We cannot speak to, the operation without the people. So if we are talking about the people and we are talking about the operation, then the internal development of these people who are going to get the job done is very, very critical. And that's why I would say that a couple of things that comes to mind when we are looking at, okay, what businesses need to do, in terms of integrating technology and then, of course, developing the team in terms of soft skills. And that's why we are even talking about the boot camp. Why do we have boot camp? Why do we have students taking the boot camp? It's because we see the need for people to learn some of these things. We are talking about marketing. We are talking about different needs of the business. At every point of the business process, there is technology that is integrated, whether, for example, marketing, there's the CRM tool, there are different tools, that project management tools that the people in the team need to understand. People in the team need to know how to use so that the process of the organization itself becomes very seamless. And that is the essence of technology in a business. We cannot overemphasize the importance of technology in the business because it helps the process more seamless. It also helps to build like a more efficient way, of doing things. Because oftentimes you say that, you could say, let's just be doing telephone conversation. How about you have feedback tools maybe integrated into your website? Some businesses at this point in time in 21st century don't even have a website. So when you have all these different issues, the bottlenecks start to arise. But if you want to checkmate all these bottlenecks, then you need technology integrated into your business. And how do you integrate technology? The people are the ones that would help you execute the technology, and then you need them to be trained. And that is where soft skills come in. Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry. Thank you very much, Oba. So Oba has been able to elaborate why there's a need for an upskill in soft skills when it comes to business and technology integration. All right. So moving on, I'm going to throw this next question to Modesta. Yeah. So Modesta, based off on the experience that you have had thus far, I'll be glad if we can talk about how businesses identify and can identify and address gaps in both the tech and soft skills amongst their employees. Now, knowing fully well that some organizations here have respective departments that don't really have to integrate or really have to, work with, some core technologies. For example, in a software development company, we have, project management tools. We have the admin that just use basic Excel and maybe just reports. And we have the accountants that use software solutions like Oracle. And most of the times these are always considered to be hard skills. You being able to use this technology. But how do you think businesses can and address the gaps in both the tech and also soft skills amongst their employees?
Okay, so thank you for the question. I didn't get the full part, but I'll just start speaking. So how are we going to put that in soft skill and tech skills in companies? So most times people often just focus on tech skills. So for example, we use a data analyst knowing tools like Excel, Power BI, accountant knowing how to use Excel. But what's the point when you don't have certain soft skills like how to communicate this to your team members? So how to actually bridge this gap? We should also try to we should be something done at the end of every month that we normally and the weakness. So focusing on soft skills like their attention to details, their teamwork, their growth, and all that. So just someone that knows how to code is not just enough. So there's a programmer in the company that knows how to code, but he doesn't carry his team members along. He just works alone. That way, the business can never grow. You don't carry your team members along. You don't communicate well. You don't even have attention to small details that would actually help the company grow. So focusing on just these hard skills and leaving behind these soft skills can actually affect the business negatively. And we have to actually bridge this gap again, I'll say, by doing some kind of monthly review for each of the employees. So you have to know their strength and their weakness. So for example, I might be really good in doing a lot of coding and all, but then my boss has noticed that I'm not good to be communicating. I just do my thing and send. I don't work with people. I'm just there in the office. I don't talk to this person. I don't talk to this person. I don't have good time management skill. I might get the job done, but I won't get it done on time. I would always be past the deadline. So by identifying these weaknesses in your employees, you should actually correct them. And ways that this can also be done is personally, there should be communication in the office, not just among the people, but with the employer and the employees. So the employer also should actually get this soft skill of communicating to people, because you always have to, like I said, communication is key, both visually, orally. They have to always improve in that. So we should try to improve in that aspect, not just learning how to code, how to analyze data, how to do some kind of graphics. If the soft skills are not present, that's a problem in the growth of the company. I don't know if I answered your question.
Oh, yes, it did. All right. So you mentioned communication skills. You also mentioned time management skills. In as much as these are one of the fundamentals that will make you a good team player, and also help you deliver your work at the required time. In the modern day technology, modern day workplace, it is required that while we're integrating with, your software technologies that enhances your work productivity, we still need to fall back to your soft skills. All right. So, an advice to everyone out there. Yeah. You also need to ensure that, in as much as you're building your hard skills, you also need to understand that this is, the soft skills that is even going to take you a lot further. All right. So, thank you very much, Modesta. And I'm going to like to throw my next question to Mrs. Inka. Yeah. All right. So, Mrs. Inka, um, do you mind, sharing with us, some of the key tech skills that are critical and for business growth in today's digital landscape?
Okay, apologies. I was trying to unmute my video. Okay, good afternoon once again, everybody.
Mhm.
And thank you for having myself on the team today to discuss this topic. So, what are some of the key tech skills that are critical for today's landscape? So, from my end, I mean, I run a microfinance bank, and some of the key tech skills are the finance system that people need is one, ability to do analytics. People may not see um, data analytics, let me use that way. People may not see what Excel sheets as tech, where it's tech, right? So I will be surprised at how many features that program can do, and that we have not even scratched the surface in terms of making adequate and good use of it. So, of course, I'm ready to do that analysis because when you want to make strategic business decisions, you need to have information. How do you get information? Putting data together, and you need to make informed decisions. So you need to make decisions in terms of, okay, which target group do you want to give more funds to? You want to make an informed decision in terms of, okay, what rate do you want to charge this set of customers? So this I think is very, very key as a soft skill to have. Another one is digital marketing. So of course, if we have set up all the processes in place and we are not able to market and get the right class of customers to come and access the products, I mean, we'll just be there. We have the money and we cannot disburse to anyone, or we cannot reach the right set of clients that we are trying to attract. So digital marketing is very key. Digital marketing also takes us to stuff like social media marketing, content marketing, which is very big now in our world now because people are only attracted to what they see and what they interact with. So very key that we are able to have these skills. And of course, the one that is upcoming now again is cybersecurity. I mean, in our own space at Microfinance Bank, we are made to do certifications on cybersecurity, showing that we are aware of that frauds can occur and that fraudulent activity can occur, and then what are you putting in place to be able to mitigate this? So another soft skill that's coming up, or tech skill rather, that people can participate in is cyber security. To be able to, when we are online and doing all the transactions, there are other people that are online with wrong intentions. So that's another tech skill that can help in the business climate of today. I hope I've been able to help. Those are the few that I can bring to mind now that have direct impact on our business as a microfinance bank. So you have other tech skills, of course, like project management, and you have AI, which is on the trend now, and that we are afraid that it's going to come and take our jobs, which is not true anyway. You have web development, yes, because when everybody interacts with you, the first thing I want to say is, where's your website? They want to check your presence. They want to know what you as a company are about, right? So it's very key as an individual if you can develop a skill in any of these areas and develop good competence. So beyond developing the skill, you also have to know applicability, how to apply it. So you notice that we all have data analysts in the finance space. You will also have data analysts in the medical space. You will also have data analysts that are working in the army, the soldiers, with the armed forces, security agencies rather, as a board. So you beyond learning the skills, you also have to have applicability. You have to know which industry you want to tackle problems at and know how to best apply those tech skills that you have acquired in that industry to obtain relevance. So those are some of the ones I know are relevant for business today, regardless of which industry you are going in. So I've mentioned cybersecurity, I mentioned digital marketing, I mentioned data analytics, and then project management. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Shinka. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and I'm glad that you even mentioned project management. So some of the people that were supposed to take my class, and they were scared, at least now you heard. Yeah, that even in the finance sector, you can be a project manager, and it's also a critical skill to business build. Yeah, cybersecurity to top notch, and although cybersecurity the components as an organization, than some other ones, yeah, but still, in a general sense, it is also a critical skill, especially in this day and age yeah, not to also talk, not to also forget about data analysis. It's very, very important. Yeah, and it's a good thing that most, if not all of this skills are what is being taught in the patent program. All right. So moving on, yeah, we've talked about soft skills, we talked about hard skills, yeah, and in an organization, what makes an organization a working organization is not just about the skill, not just about how proficient the employees are or the team members are. Yeah, but also need to look at the other parts, organizational structure. We also need to look at the corporate culture, the ways and the do's and don'ts of this organization. Now, these are part of the things that make an organization prosper. So I'm going to throw my next question to Mrs. Abiola. Yeah, and I'll be glad if she can share. Ms. Abiola, I don't know if you can hear me. I'll be glad if you can share, insights on how business can foster a culture that encourages the ongoing improvement of team skills. So I'm going to put the question again. Yeah, I'll be glad if you can share insights on how businesses can foster a culture that encourages the ongoing improvement of team skills. Oh, okay. So I'm going to move that question, yeah, to
I answer?
yeah, Mrs. Inter, you can.
All right. Okay. So, coincidentally, it's a question that is kind of dear to my heart because I am fond of saying that an organization that does not train its employees or empower its employees is positioned to fail because you need to train the next generation on these things. So, how can you position as an organization to ensure soft skills? First, you have to make it part of your company policy to ensure that there is room for training and also room for people to express. So we are fond of, as recruiters, sometimes we can sometimes be fond of boxing people to their JDs. So you feel that you have employed someone to be an accountant, and then you want to restrict him to doing accounting the same way they're doing accounting. Meanwhile, there are opportunities that he can learn to use tools, right? And he can learn to use tools and even modify those tools to best suit him or her in executing the duty. So first, I'll say one, the organization should be able to inculcate it in inculcate trains in their portfolio. Two, an enabling environment where staff are able to express and share ideas, and then government is also positioned in a way to be receptive to those ideas. So sometimes you might not necessarily have funds to execute those ideas or execute those programs at time, but you must be able to portray and show a kind of body language like you are receptive to. That will help encourage those employees to go all out to do learning, right? In some situations, you may be that evaluation, you must show that you are ready to switch stuff around. So I'll give an example. Where I was working before, it's a commercial bank. For some set of people, there was room for them to say, you know what, in this sector that I'm working, for example, I'm working in marketing, I'm not thriving, I'm not doing well, but I feel like I can do better in social media or content marketing. And it will it will take a lot of work around for them to be able to get to those units, because I mean the evaluation was structured in such a way that it was difficult for you to just move from one department to another. The only one that was easy was if you said you were going to marketing. Everybody, oh, they welcome you, open arms. For every other department, it was hard to. And I felt it was a service organization because we had many intelligent brains in wrong departments, putting a square peg in a round hole, right? So I'll say organizations must also be willing to help to harness these skills in employees. That helps to encourage employees to go after these skills, and also know that okay, we have room to also practice these skills in the organization. So those are the few points I think that can help to foster that in an organization.
Thank
You
you
are
very
good?
much.
All right.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs. Inka. All right, so that's a very quite interesting insight. Yeah, and so moving on. Yeah, I would also like to talk about some of the challenges. Yeah, I'd like us to talk about some of the challenges that businesses face when they're trying to implement initiatives and improving tech and soft skill, because sometimes when we talk about things that the business can do. We'll talk about strategies. We talk about what the employee should do. But we always a lot of time we try to overlook the process. Overlook the challenge that might the businesses might face when trying to implement this change or trying to implement this strategic initiative. So I would like us to also talk about this, so just so that everybody here can feel inclusive, because we said some things, communication, we said some things, we said some art skills, and some of us here, I was once like that too. When I hear all these things, and then I know that the organization I was working with, will not, even sponsor some of these, art skills, and even me myself, maybe the salary I was earning as a then, wasn't really enough when I look at all the budgets, that all the expenses I'm going to make at the end of the month. Yeah. So I'll be glad if we can also let everyone know, some of the challenges that these businesses, also face, because we are not. We might not know whatever exactly it is that the organizations are facing, and we tend to, throw names or feel offended. But I'll be glad if Oba can just quickly share some of this information, the common challenges businesses face when trying to implement initiatives aimed at improving tech and soft skills, and how these businesses can overcome them. Over to you, please.
Okay, I'm not sure Oba's still in the room. Is Oba still in the room? If I could just go ahead to answer that question.
Yes, you can.
Okay, so challenges businesses face encounter when trying to implement softwares, tech and soft skills in their processes. So one of the things that have always affected businesses in implementing soft majorly tech skills and soft skills is the need for it. So there have to also be a kind of internal review if I think my business need this kind of soft skills or tech skills. So most scenarios has always been businesses, mostly startups that are still trying to be structured, often don't believe they need certain set of skills. So once they open up operations and the staffs are recruited and business commenced, they just begin to add those services on the fly. So, and most times what that does to the business is it allows you to struggle. And then another also reason I think the challenge is the cost of implementing these solutions. So if you want to implement software tech skills into your business, that means you have to first consider implementing the process and the infrastructure. Then you have to also look at the cost implementation for training the staff that will be managing those tools and infrastructures. And also in the likes of soft skills, as case may be, training people most times in soft skills in how things should be done most times are a bit under what you call it, what underestimated or undervalued, in the sense that once you employ hire staff, based on what they claim or what they said on their CV they can actually do, we assume that they'll be able to easily what was that word? Easily integrate themselves into our processes or operations of organization, forgetting the fact that there are certain processes that, as a visionary of the business, you have in place or have in mind, and you need to take people through training in how they engage your clients, in how they engage your business, in how they engage support processes, in how they engage internal operations, in communication, in leadership, for who are the ones, the staff who are meant to be responsible for other staff members, and all those processes. We underestimate those training and those skills. So, and what happens to business is that business begins to struggle and begin to have challenges, and because we never thought it's part of a process we need to put in place at the beginning of the business. And what that does is that we run into the business, we run into challenges, and we start looking at external faults, external challenges, or external causes of these things, forgetting that there are internal processes that have been omitted or that have been underlooked or undermined, that have grown to become major obstacles to business success. And so for my own point of view, I think to just sum up the whole conversation to 3 points is that we need to have a proper planning at the beginning of our business to look at, okay, what are the tech infrastructures, and what are the sort of soft skills my business will be requiring before hiring. And once you hire, then you try to bring those guys to undertake this training in terms of how to manage the operations or the technical requirement engagement of the business. And if those are put in place, and then now at the cost implication for you to be able to put those things in place. So you look at the need, what you need in terms of tech and soft skills. Then you now look at the budget, the cost implication, putting your budget. Then you also now have an implementation program. How you intend to implement this process? Is it going to be quarterly? Is it going to be biannually? Is it going to be annually? You train your staff, and those are the things that businesses need to put in place to be able to grow properly and not have to deal with internal challenges, and not understanding that these challenges can easily be solved when things are put in place in the order of priorities, and before the business kickstarts, and able to implement those things as I mentioned. The needed soft skills and tech skills, the cost implementations for me to be able to budget for them, then the implementation program that would be inclusive in the entire plan operation of the business. Perhaps maybe you have a yearly process where you review them, or maybe twice in 2 years or 4 years, depend on the business model or the industry of the business. Thank you. Hope I'm able to answer your question, Benga.
Yes, you've been able to answer. Thank you
I
very
wanted
much.
to add to it.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Yes, so I think just one more. You said everything I talked about. I think I also want to add is again that some businesses don't have the luxury of time. So the time that someone has to know is to learn or perfect a next skill or learn a soft skill for you to now come and implement. Sometimes businesses don't have the luxury of time. So take for instance um, the financial landscape in Nigeria over the past 3 months in 2024. So, and what is common in this part of the world is, or it's in the world generally, is that we have problems before we prefer solutions. And businesses are already in the problems anyway, and might even go under with the problem if a adequate solution doesn't come up on time. So some current challenges that I think businesses face when trying to implement is usually the challenge of time. Like a popular parlance say, there's no time to waste time. So they need to implement it now. However, there's still the challenge of finance. There's this challenge of saying, okay, does it meet our need now? And okay, so we meet our need, but can we afford it? So, but I think the major thing is the timing when that tech skills and when that soft skill is available. And even beyond that, to even see the availability of persons in terms of soft skills. So what has happened is the Japa syndrome has also affected the market. Most of, well, people say the good hands, people say the good hands have left in quotes. I tend to disagree. But however, I think the most important thing in terms of either a tech skill or a soft skill is the attitude of the person to learning, right? So in my organization, what we're particular about when it comes to culture is we want to know your ability to your attitude to learning because it's the backbone of everything. Your attitude to the business. I say to my people here, every one of you must take the business as your own, take it as your own personal business. So I think that's what the two major challenges that businesses will have to overcome. First, time, because you don't actually have the luxury of time to implement. And then two, we are looking at also attitude of the persons to acquiring this knowledge and applying it appropriately. Okay. Thank you.
Hello?
Can you go ahead, please? Can you?
Oh, sorry. I had to quickly switch my internet. Yeah, because I couldn't hear Mrs. Yinka clearly. All right. So, but Ms. Yinka, I think I heard most of the things that you said. About you mentioned about the Japa syndrome. Yeah, and I would say I agree with you when you mentioned that. There are some. I agree with you when you mentioned that there are some. There are some when they say that the people that have left, the good ones have left, that's not really true. Yeah, I agree with you because the good ones that left also give room for the ones that are coming behind to be better. Right. So let's move on to the next question, and I'm going to direct this question to Mr. Segun. Mr. Segun, can you confirm that you are there?
Yes, and good morning from here.
All right. Good afternoon. Yeah. All right. So we've been talking about challenges that businesses face. Yeah, and we also talked about advances that businesses can take to improve the tech and soft skills within the organization. And I want to believe that you agree with me that mentorship is part of a good strategy to help foster growth within the organization. Yes.
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah. So, and mentorship usually take different roles. Yeah, and beginning we can throw some insights about and also give maybe some examples of how mentorship can play a major role in the overall organizational growth and most importantly, in the team and employees development.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for coming in late. Okay, so I think I'm happy we're having this conversation because okay, let me say my team we found ourselves in these situations, and I was just discussing with my team yesterday around this. So Segun Adegoke is my name once again, and I'm the CEO at Bay Project. I will first take it from the side of bringing in tech skills, or maybe looking at technology, bringing in technology into your startups and how it could. I think Mr. Dai was talking about the costs and and also the human capital that actually have done Japa syndrome. I think that was Mr. Adinka was talking about. I would say that okay, let me cite the example in our organization. So right now we're actually looking at actually developing like a client management system, and we've actually discussed this severally also with Createng. I think we've mentioned it at a time with them. And before now, we've actually had quite few friends that are in tech that we've actually discussed with around making this happen. We can say our company is still like a medium scale business. I mean, small business trying to, grow. And we had set friends, like I said, that are big boys in information technology. They've worked with, multinationals, and we had to like leverage on that relationship to discussing possible offer with them and, the roadmap to making this work. And I can tell you, because these guys first now, to what Ms. Adinka said, because they live in Canada now, they're Nigerians that live in Canada. So they started calculating, what it requires. I think the minimum pay per hour in Canada, the wage in Canada, against the number of hours they are going to work on this MVP. So we started calculating over 40,000 Canadian dollars. Even now, coming to leveraging on friendship, we started talking. So cost, I'm just trying to buttress the point Mr. Dayo mentioned earlier, that cost can actually go a long way in, making, organizations, SMEs, sometimes, already, big firms, it could be like a kind of hindrance to making this, work, or to making them bring in, information technology in their business. And we know that this is very important because, that's the path to scaling. As an organization, I want to scale. As an organization, I actually want to grow. It's easy for you to manage a team of 5 or 10, but as you actually grow further, that's why we have people that are doing, I think, human resource technology now. I think there are some companies now, they, go about saying they are bringing, information technology into human resourcing and all of that. So you don't want to manage 7, 10 branches, have over 100, 200 clients with just writing some emails every day, trying to like get companies yourself via calls and all of that. So, but narrowing it down to what you asked me to talk on, to be honest, I also completely agree that tech is very important. Mentorship is very important to scaling any organization. I've also personally witnessed it. I like to actually say from my own perspective and from my experience, because we brought it from a company of 1 person to we have a team fully paid now, over 50 members. And to talk generally, on a monthly basis, we have to like extend our commitments to more than 100 people every month. So but when we started, we had very few. Okay, let me personalize this. I had very few options. So I tell you for a fact that I brought some people from Oshogbo. I brought like 2 people from Oshogbo myself, But then, like they used to say, if the boss also does not have enough, what do you have to pass down? So that's why we all we're not at sea level yet, but where we are, we all have to like add values to ourselves, be ready, because it's the path to growth at every point of the company's growth. So one thing I was able to do that I think I don't really do anymore now, that I'm still even fighting myself and telling myself to be able to still do in the future, is to find time to sit down to put these people through very few things, because and I feel like it's not just even basically in terms of the work they do, also even in terms of their personal life, social life, because they're not mentally stable, they can't get the job done. That's the truth. So we have to be ready to really touch base on these people to actually impact their life. And now I'm happy now that this lady that used to be my front desk then, just a lady I've not even served, works in the customer experience department of Access Bank now. When she sees me, it's not as if I'm like 50-year-old yet, but I mean, she kneels down with 2 legs because of that. I mean, that's part of her already. I tell my team members, whatever thing we learn, even myself, we have people that already have experience from other department, other sector, and they've joined us. So whatever experience we, or whatever thing we learn from each other while working together, it's already part of us. It's part of us from now till forever. So I totally agree with you, and I think it goes a long way. And I think every company, every team lead, not just the management of any company now, should take time to train, to mentor, to impact each other, even across team leads, across colleagues in companies. There's always something to actually learn from each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bigoke. Benga.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Shegun. Yeah, and I kind of like your style of mentorship, lead by example. Yeah, and I think that goes a long way. Yeah. Some organization try as much as possible to ensure that the senior staff members are being given I've been assigned 1 or 2 junior team members to shadow how they they get things done. But at the end of the day, in as much as ensuring that the team the organization the employees are up to speed as regards getting to improve on their tech skills. Mrs. Nika mentioned something earlier, time. Yeah, time is also a great factor. Time is also of a great factor. Yeah, so I also like everyone to understand that looking at things from the angle of the business, there's a lot of constraints that the businesses have to manage to ensure that the team members and the employees grow. Yeah, and the employees should try as much as possible to in turn reciprocate by appreciating and be diligent enough to personally ensure that whatever support that organizations are being given to them, they utilize it very well, and also show the results through productivity and getting things done. All right, so I'm going to ask one last question before I move the table to Mr. Dyer to take the lead going forward. All right, so everybody has talked about organization culture. We've talked about challenges organization face. We talked about skill sets, critical soft skills and hard skills that team members need to prioritize if they want to dwell in today's digital landscape. Now, there's this question that a lot of people now really want to ask here, which is about this remote work. Yeah, now remote work now has become a part of most organization structure. Yeah, except for the manufacturing industry, do. Yeah, but most companies now have adopted remote work as part of the routine. Yeah, and I'll be glad if, and I want to throw this question to Mr. Dyer himself. Yeah, and I'll be glad if he can talk to us about how this mic check. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I'll be glad if Mr. Dyer can help talk to us about ways that remote work environment impacts the development and of both tech and soft skills within the team.
Okay, thank you, Benga. So this conversation, it's the kind of is a major conversation in the industry. So after post-COVID, the globe, the world has adopted remote working. And before COVID, there've been remote working actually, and perhaps we call it blended. where people come in and perhaps for certain days and are off for certain days. And whenever there's a need for you to work, you can easily be called upon to connect your laptop. And I remember back then, as an IT person, once I'm on leave or probably I have a reason to go for a training, out of office training, I get to work remotely. And that's because I'm off probably the location. And because there are also tools that allow me to work remotely based on the kind of thing I do as an IT person. But after COVID, which is post-COVID, a lot of organizations had to adopt that method. And beyond organization adopting the method, we also found out that a lot of employees want to stay or want to engage with that particular method. And based on that orientation or that attitude or change to the work environment based on this new adoption within the workplace environment, remote working has become a bit challenging. And one of the reasons it's become challenging is because the world, global world, perhaps part of this world, we are not fully ready in some part of the world for remote working. For perhaps developed countries like the likes of to mention a few, the US, the UK, there are factors that are surrounding ability to implement a proper remote working environment in terms of the internet connectivity, the working environment itself, the availability of 24/7 light, electricity, power, and other things beyond that. The environment, so a lot of people want to adopt, a lot of employees want to adopt that style of working and across all industry. So somebody that works in a bank wants to work remotely. Somebody that works in a school wants to lecture remotely. Someone that works in I don't know, maybe in what you call it now, an agri industry, or you call it a real estate company wants to work remotely. And this is really affecting is really challenging the industry in terms of ability to pass across development and impact your team members, because most times it goes beyond doing the task. There are other things that are required to be applied in performing the task by a team member. So, for instance, purpose of example is myself and my team are meant to implement on a project, and we set up to agree on a certain process to adopt. Now, because I am the most experienced in the team, there are certain things that I would have done or I would have expected them to do if they really understood the process. But because of lack of one-on-one engagement, we tend to miss those process or those conversations. Then the work gets done wrongly, or we take more time to get the job done. And so in terms of now passing across required knowledge, it becomes more lengthy, or more time consuming, achieving those processes remotely. And what that does to business is that it slows things down. A product or a project that is meant to be developed or completed within a month, because you've adopted a remote working environment in your organization because of the need of creating an environment that allows employee to be a bit relaxed and be comfortable because of that drive or that adoption, they begin to lose certain values like the culture. So I remember somebody spoke about the culture. Was it Adeyinka? I spoke about the culture of organization. So those culture that you probably you have and you engage within the organization, you begin to lose those cultures and value within the system. Cultures like the way you engage customers in terms of delivering of service, you tend to lose them, because what you get to work with most time will not be process that have been documented, but in terms of physical learning from your mentors or from your team lead on the way you would have approached a certain situation becomes watered down. And that's what I see as the impact in development for tech and soft skills when it comes to remote working environments amongst team. Now, things get, there's little you can, there's also another part of it, which is communication. Communication become lost in between the process. So you have a virtual session, a stand-up session, and you with the assumption that everybody that was in that stand-up session were paying attention to the details. Now, because you're not in the same location, you can't really tell. Now, oftentimes we join remote session or for meetings. We don't want to put up our videos, right? Everybody put off their videos. They are trying to multitask. You're in a meeting session and you're getting you're having a debrief or a briefing session, and I'm trying to do other things while I'm on my phone. I'm on Instagram because I'm not at work, because I'm joining remotely. And so communication become lost, passing across details of the meeting or the implementation become lost. And what that does is that it also impacts on development of the team. So people tend not to grow in capacity as they should to become from an entry level to become a middle management team, to become a senior management. So you have people being upbaked within the system because of remote working adoption and the methodologies in which is being implemented in certain industries or in this part of the world. So I think I'm an advocate of allowing. I'm in support of remote working. I'm an advocate of remote working, but I think for it to be implemented, I think the best approach needs to be adopted for it to work in development of your team members in both. Whatever you do, whether you have tech within what you do, or you have in terms of soft skills, because if you look at even sales, to be a marketer, I don't know how you want to achieve that without having really learning from your team lead, because their approach, if I'm a marketer, head of marketing, and we're supposed to achieve a certain target, and we have a briefing virtually, then everybody dispersed to implement. There's an approach in which I do my marketing that some people working with me might need to learn from. Seeing me physically, seeing the way I converse, seeing the way I am compelling at trying to get customer attention to buy or to sell to customer. Those things can only be achieved remotely, and even training based on this part of the world in terms of ability of internet, fast internet connectivity. If you're trying to deliver training sessions, sometimes like this kind of session we're having today, I can see people coming in and leaving the meeting based on internet connectivities and the likes. And so those are different things I've mentioned that really would affect you be able to develop your team members. If you want to run a full-fledged remote working environment within your team, is applicable in some industry. Maybe if the industry that can easily adopt that kind of system, but from my experience, so far, so good. From the tech point of view, I work in a software organization where we deploy software, and the guys that build the software most likely are not always on ground. And I know the challenges we encounter to get them to correct just a bug on the solution. And most times, from experience, also looking at why we work together as a team in the same location, we get things faster done, get things done faster rather, and we're able to deliver things and be able to move further. So in summary, the challenges are enormous, but the ones that I'm able to mention in developing your team members for both tech and soft skills are the ability of communicating effectively, understanding the job to be done and implementing it properly, and also the ability of transferring knowledge. There's some knowledge you need to transfer that they need to see you implement it. They need to see how you do it before they will be able to understand it. So those are the things I think are part of the challenges that have been in existence after the adoption of the remote working environment. Thank you, Benga.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Dyer. Yeah, I just want to quickly say a thing or two about this subject. Yeah, and I believe that everyone here will also agree with me that a lot of companies have put some structures in place. Many of it has not worked, some of it has worked, yeah, but it still boils down to your work ethics, your soft skills, and also your ability to adapt. Yeah, because this is me talking from personal experience. Yeah, and working with different people in different countries across the world. Yeah, working, the idea of working, yeah, is because of two things. You have a goal in mind, and you know you're going to earn a reward. Reward at the end of the month will be your salary or wage. Yeah. And this is like a basic fundamental, basic logical understanding of the perception of what working is. Yeah. Before you can eat, yeah, you need to work. Before you can make money, you need to work. Yeah. And also having this understanding, yeah, it means that when you are working, you need to be diligent enough. You need to get the work done right. Now, the only difference now is that, the initial style of work is you need to go to an office. Now, you are staying in your house with your laptop and with your notebook, and you're communicating via the internet with your co-workers or your colleagues. Now, the same ideology of you having to be diligent enough to get your job done, attend meetings, write reports, and also, interact. Yeah, it doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the environment. So, remote working for me, yeah, shouldn't be perceived as, you need to put processes in place, to get people to do their job. Yeah, it is actually the people that need to understand that they need to do their job. Yeah, not the organization trying to spend so much resources, to help, employees to be comfortable in their house, which is supposed to be comfortable already, yeah, so that they can get to deliver the work. So I feel like, there needs to be some communication, some more sessions, meetings, and people need to actually speak the truth. Like remote working is just the same way as working in an office. The only difference is the location, the background, the ambience. And that should not stop people, from getting to from delivering what needs to be done. Yeah, I don't think that, having to say we are not ready, it's not about the ecosystem, it's actually about the people. Do you want to make a living? If yes, then get to do the work. I'm sorry, I'm over flogging this matter, but I just felt like, we need to actually speak the truth and, see the pain points, So it's not about the organization, it's about me, it's about you. And I believe everybody is listening. So I'm going to allow, I think that's the end of this panel session, and I will allow Mr. Dial, to close it, then we move on to the next on the agenda list.
Hey, so thank you so much, Benga. Thank you everyone for your time. It's been a 1 hour plus intensive conversation around tech and soft skills for business growth, and I want to believe everyone have gained one or two things. I don't know if there are questions from the audience. Our time is fast spent. We can just take two questions from the audience, and then we'll call it a wrap. Questions from the audience? Do we have questions from the audience? I guess we don't. So let me just appreciate our panelists.
I have a question, Mr. Dayo.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Mr. Vega made mention of working at home. But what if you work at home and you work in an organization? Why will you classify those kind of people? Like in terms of both remote and on-site working, how will you, like, because most times it applies to tech personnel if they don't want to work,
I think your internet, I don't know if it's me,
the
but I think your internet is
job
it's cracking.
can just,
Yes, I can.
remotely work
Only,
from the house.
yeah, all right, if you can get the question, can you pause?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can, please, go
Can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so I think what he's asking is about how does the hybrid remote work model apply for those that are not in the tech space?
All right,
So
do you want
those
me to
in the
answer
tech
that?
space can leverage on technology to get things done. So those that are not in the tech space, how do they?
And go ahead, Benga, please. Benga, you're not audible. Okay. We can hear
Yeah,
you.
okay. All right. So I was asking, do you want me to answer it? Okay. All right. So this is it here. And a lot of us are really beginning to forget that, what technology really is. Yeah. And if you Google it, yeah, and you ask Google, what is the meaning of technology? If I let me quickly do it right now. So Google definition of technology is this, yeah? The application of scientific knowledge for practical purpose, especially in industry. Did you get that? So the point there is that, when you say, technology company, yeah, you tend to, people have already built, and this is over time, people have built the perception. Can you hear me?
Between the follow family member will be business.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, people have built the perception of, okay, software development company.
No, I feel
Yeah.
like I've tried to.
Okay, people have this perception of software development company, but little do we know that how technology started. What is technology? The machine that we use, the pen that we use. There was a time that the pen that we use is called technology. Yeah, it's just that technology keeps evolving. As it keeps evolving, many of us forget, what really is technology. Yeah, these are scientific tools, scientific knowledge, that has been formed into tools and processes to help optimize our activity for better efficiency and faster results delivery. Do you understand? So in organizations where you feel that are not tech companies, yeah, they also use technological tools, to perform their tasks. Yeah, in a farmland, a tractor is a technology. Do you understand? So to answer your question directly, I just needed to just, clear the context of, our understanding about what technology is. Yeah. So to answer your question directly, for organizations that are not, software or hardware technology related in the technology driven industry, yeah, what do they use? Yeah, to perform, hybrid, work routine. Yeah, an example is this: phone call, 2, emails. Yeah, let me give you a perfect example. Let's say a farm. Yeah, a farm that picks cashew, or a farm that or let's say an audit firm or a consulting a finance firm. Yeah. Now these companies are not tech-driven organization. Do you understand? But they use technology tools to help perform their day-to-day tasks. So, and also you also need to understand that there are different factors that will make an organization adopt hybrid or full remote. Sometimes it's not really about everybody is doing it. Sometimes there's some economic factor that will push the business to make decisions that, let us do remote. So in such scenario where organizations that are not tech-driven, yeah, adopt hybrid, the way they can effectively still manage, their work and delivery of their team of tasks assigned to their team members. 1, you can use Excel. 2, you can use email. 3, phone call. The phone that we use is a technology you get. So I just want to just clear the air on that. Yeah. So whether it's a tech-driven or not tech-driven, technology is still applicable, to help foster either hybrid or remote work.
Thank you, Benga. Just to add a bit clarity or to add to what you just said is maybe it meant organization like Auto Workshop. Even the banks, there are certain things they can do remotely. The ATM machine cannot be loaded remotely. If you remember during the lockdown, there are certain jobs that had to shut down fully. Factories that were not on ground before the lockdown. So to just add a bit, most of the work we do today in the world, most of the part of it can be done remotely. It's just few part of it that would require us to be in person to get it done. But I believe as technology continues to evolve and get more developed, those things can easily be done in terms of AI. You can have robot being sent to those places remotely, get those things done, right? So I hope that
can I say something about that?
Okay.
Yeah, so just to add, I think this thing boils down to what we said in the beginning about attitude. So can most organizations adopt remote? Yes, they can. However, challenges, like as we rightly said before, is number one, organization structure. Number two, they are looking at their pattern, the kind of work we do. And I think the key one there is the attitude of the staff. So, for example, I'll highlight our organization. We kind of launched hybrid for our staff, even though we're a bank. And what we just did was to do it on rotation basis, right? So we look at critical functions and see, okay, this person can be off today, and this other person can cover this role. This person can be off tomorrow. This other person can cover this role. So it all boils down to attitude, because there's work that needs to be done that cannot be done when you are working from home. Some can be done when you're working from home with the tools highlighted on the like your Excel sheet, like your system, like your phones. But there's something like physically attending to customers. So what social organizations can do is to adopt a rotation system. So it's not like as if everybody's off every day. But what remote or hybrid simply means is they are not working from the business premises. However, there are key functions that require human interaction. We just mean that we need to rotate. And at that point, attitude comes into play, because what will most likely happen is on the day that you are physically present in the office, you might have to do much more than your own role. You might have to do somebody else's functions in addition to yours. You understand? Or even 2 or 3 other people that function in addition to yours. So it all comes down to attitude and ability to have a teamwork view when you're applying work, and even beyond teamwork, and ownership mentality when you're coming to the business. If you feel like doing that, oh, today my colleague ABC is not around, I'm in charge today, I own it. So you put your hand to do everything that is necessary for that business to survive, knowing fully well that on the day where you are not physically available, someone else is also going to cover for you. So just wanted to just put it out there that for some organizations, it's possible. It's just that it's going to put more of a strain on other persons that are physically available. And then, like as rightly said, it's on a need base. So for us at maybe it was a financial decision to say, okay, how can we do some cost savings for some of the things that we have to spend if we don't have everybody coming in every day? How can we also lighten the budget? So at this point, we cannot increase take homes of people, but how can we now lighten the budget for them? So, like I said, in the need base, it's not an opportunity to just, like I said, it's not an opportunity to just sit at home and to go to the cinema, to go and pick children from school. We do funny stuff, and like I said, we also have video when it's time for meeting. You have deliverables that you don't deliver on. What we do here is to say, okay, what are the things that you need to deliver over the period, over this day that you're on, and then someone is there to monitor. Ideally, there's always somebody to monitor, because if you're in the office, you should deliver your key. But because of human nature, you're still putting checks and balances in place. Like you're still having to go the extra mile of putting checks and balances in place to ensure that the person is doing the work. In other parts of the world, I have a friend that is in UK that works remotely. She has her system on like this, and she has to on her video for the number of, so she selects the hours. She has to work, I think 4 or 5 hours in a day. So she selects the stretch of time that she can work. So she can decide to log into her system by 10 a.m. But once she logs into her 10 a.m. for the next 5 hours, she does not have the luxury of signing up for more than 5 minutes from that system, right? To go and maybe she needs to use the restroom or take a stretch or something. So she has those intermittent breaks that she can do. So that's another check, because the organization is not spending data, but she's not spending her personal resources of data to make sure that her system is on, ensure that she has power, right? To ensure that her system is on and that she's not gonna, her video is on, no distractions. So even if she actually has really nothing that she's doing, she has to just clock in 5 hours in a day, right? So most organizations can adopt to some extent that remote work, remote learning beyond the software companies. However, we are also taking into the character of, and the attitude of human beings in approaching it. So if you look at real estate too, if you know that you could drive your business, you can make sales with your phone. I mean, except even you can, there are 3D images where you can sell land to people now without them physically being there. You can show the image all around the place. People can practically feel like they are walking on that land even if they are not there. So there are tools now that you can use to work remotely. However, you can never replace the part of human engagement, and just need that on those days when you are remote, someone else might have to pick up the slack for you. Just wanted to add that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Deyinka. I think this brings us to the end of the webinar session. I would like to just give say a big thank you to our panelists and also our co-host Benga Johnson, the panelists Mr. Deyinka, Ufolami, MD, our Cash Microfinance Bank. I think I'm not sure about Oluwa is today, brand strategist. I would like to say a big thank you to Mr. Segun Adegoke, CEO Bay Projects. Also, would like to recognize the presence of Mrs. Abiola Shuremleko, CEO, David Hammond Resource. She's been connected all through this session. We'll be having her tomorrow at the same time, 12:30 p.m. tomorrow for our own session and other panelists in the house. I think also I have Modesta. Thank you, Modesta, Data Science tutor, for your session and for the question answered. I think that's about it. I hope I didn't miss anyone else. Thanks so much, everyone, for our audience that have connected throughout the session. Thank you so much. We'll be having the same session and to take the conversation to the next level on tech and soft skills for business growth. Kindly engage to bring more people to the session so that they can learn. And also, if you know any business owner that needed to, implement or learn from this conversation, kindly ensure to, invite them to connect to also learn. The video will be available on YouTube after the session for replay or reviewing. Thank you so much. I want over to Ore. Ore, you can have the floor. Thank you, everyone. And bye for now.
All right. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
On a younger year, when all our shadows disappeared, the animals inside came out of play. When face to face with all our fears, learned our lessons through the tears, made memories we knew would never fade. One day my father, he told me, son, don't let us slip away. He took me in his arms, I heard him sing. When you get older, your world, I will live for younger days. Think of me if ever you're afraid. He said one day you'll leave this world behind, so live a life you will remember. My father told me when I was just a child. These are the nights. Father told me when I These are the nights that never die. When thunderclouds are pouring down, light a fire that can't put out. Carve your name into those shining stars. He said, go venture far beyond the shores. Don't forsake this life of yours. So daddy, I will never let you go. One day my